Imagine kicking off one of the most storied college basketball seasons with a lopsided exhibition game against an opponent that's not even in the same league. That's exactly what Gonzaga is doing this year, and it raises eyebrows about whether this powerhouse is playing it too safe. Fans, get ready to dive into the details of how the Bulldogs are gearing up for 2025-26. Starting with a home exhibition that promises to showcase their talent against a much smaller school. But here's where it gets controversial. With Gonzaga's unbeatable home record in these tune-ups, are they missing out on real challenges before the big games begin? Let's unpack it all, step by step, so even newcomers to college hoops can follow along easily. Gonzaga, fresh off a career mark with 0 wins or losses to start, 0-0, is set to face off against Northwest University in a Sunday exhibition match at the McCarthy Athletic Center in Spokane. The game tips off at 2 p.m. on October 19th, and you can catch it on SWX television. If you're in the SWX broadcast area, there's also live video streaming available at https://www.swxlocalsports.com/Spokane/live/Gonzaga, along with live radio on https://Spokane. For VarsityNetwork.com, audio app link, source Gonzaga University-OAS 1503, and live stats at https://stats.statbroadcast.com/broadcast equals 608504. Northwest, based in Kirkland, Washington, is a member of the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics, NAIA. That's a collegiate sports organization for smaller schools, different from the NCAA Division I, where Gonzaga competes, making this a classic David versus Goliath matchup. And this is the part most people miss. Despite facing a team from a lower division, Gonzaga enters this season with some serious buzz, ranked number 21 in the preseason Associated Press AP poll. For those new to this, the AP poll is a weekly ranking system where college basketball experts vote on the top teams, awarding points based on their placements. The Zags tallied a solid 387 points, securing their spot in the rankings. This achievement marks their 25th consecutive season in the AP poll overall, and the 16th straight year appearing in the preseason edition, a testament to their consistent excellence. Interestingly, Gonzaga shares this elite status with just 4 other programs: Duke, Kansas, Kentucky, and North Carolina. All 5 have made every preseason AP poll for the past 16 years, highlighting a rare level of sustained dominance in college sports. Speaking of dominance, the Bulldogs have a storied history of dominating these home exhibitions. Over the last 15 such games, they've averaged a whopping 44-point margin of victory, turning them into blowouts that often feel more like showcases than contests. Take last season's exhibition, for example, where they crushed Warner Pacific 109-52. Nolan Hickman, a guard on the team, check out his profile at https://gozags.com/sports/men's-basketball/roster/Nolan Hickman 5311 led the scoring with 19 points. Graham Ike and Braden Huff combined for another 25 points, each hitting 5 out of 8 shots from the field. Ike also grabbed 8 rebounds and snagged 3 steals, while the team limited Warner Pacific, a conference rival of Northwest, to just 30% shooting and forced 23 turnovers. It's performances like these that make you wonder, is Gonzaga's preseason strategy of facing weaker opponents a smart way to build confidence? Or is it just padding their stats without real adversity? This year's game against Northwest could spark debate among fans. Looking back at last season, the Bulldogs continued their winning ways by reaching the NCAA tournament for the 26th straight time. The 3rd longest active streak in the country, they wrapped up with a 26-9 record and finished number 23 in the final AP poll. Beyond that, they extended their Division I record to 18 consecutive seasons with at least 25 wins, and their 28 straight seasons of 20 or more wins is second only to Kansas for the longest active run. These stats underline Gonzaga's reliability, but some critics argue this consistency might mask a lack of true competition in the modern game. What do you think? Is building such a streak more impressive than chasing national titles? Despite some roster turnover, the Zags aren't short on experience. They only return 36% of their scoring from last year and 34% of rebounding. But the squad boasts 3 players who have already hit 1,000 career points, plus 2 more with 842 and 713 respectively. 7 players have logged at least 65 career games, and 6 of them average over 20 minutes per outing. The 2025-26 roster even includes standout award winners. The 2022-23 Mountain West Conference Preseason Player of the Year, the 2022-23 Big Sky Conference Player of the Year, and the 2023-24 Patriot League Player of the Year. This depth suggests Gonzaga is well prepared, but with so much experience coming from transfers and returning vets, does it raise questions about player development compared to building from scratch? Let's spotlight a few key players to give you a better sense of the talent. Graham Ike, a 6'9" graduate student forward, profile at https://gozags.com/sports men's basketball/roster/Graham Ike 5749, is just 41 points shy of 2,000 in his career. He started 108 of his 115 games, and last season he topped the West Coast Conference in field goal percentage at 59.8%, while ranking 3rd in scoring, 17.3 points per game, and 5th in rebounding, 7.3 per game. He's earned back-to-back first-team all-conference honors, a nod to his reliability. Braden Huff, a 6'10" redshirt junior forward, profile at https://gozags.com/sports men's basketball/roster/Braden Huff 5748, stepped up in the final 3 games last season, averaging 11 points on 57.7% shooting and 3.4 rebounds. Then there's Adam Miller, a 6'3" graduate student guard, profile at https://gozags.com/sports/men's basketball/roster/Adam Miller 6218, who ESPN hailed as a top transfer after scoring 1,206 points across 117 games at schools like Arizona State, Louisiana State, and Illinois. He started all 30 games for ASU last year, bringing proven scoring punch to the lineup. Now, shifting gears to the Eagles of Northwest University. They're the underdogs in this tale. Northwest is a private Christian institution founded in 1934 in Kirkland, Washington, with about 695 undergraduate students on a compact 56-acre campus. As an NAIA member, they compete mostly in the Cascade Collegiate Conference since the 1997-98 school year. Fun fact, the school hosted the Seattle Seahawks training facility for 22 years, from 1984 to 2006, before the team relocated. In the 2024-25 season, their men's basketball team posted a 5-23 overall record, including 4-18 in conference play, and they were picked 8th out of 11 teams in the league's preseason poll. Leading the returnees is senior Trent Williams, who averaged 8.7 points per game last year. Junior Ethan Martin comes back after hitting a team-high 39 three-pointers at 41.1% accuracy, ranking him 6th in the conference for that skill. As a squad, Northwest was 2nd in the league for blocks per game, 3.3, with senior Rashid Potter contributing 0.5 blocks per game, good for 13th in the conference. It's clear the Eagles have some defensive grit, but facing a team like Gonzaga will test them immensely. Could this be a learning opportunity for Northwest, or just a reminder of the talent gap? Looking ahead, up next for Gonzaga is another exhibition on October 27th at 6 p.m. against Western Oregon, a final warm-up before the real season starts. The Wolves, from the Great Northwest Athletic Conference in NCAA Division II, finished 5-23 overall last year, with 2-16 in conference. They've brought in new head coach Ryan Orton, formerly an assistant at Alaska Anchorage, for the 2025-26 campaign. Western Oregon was predicted 10th in their conference's preseason poll and has a preseason exhibition at Oregon State on October 25th. This setup gives Gonzaga yet another chance to fine-tune. But is stacking exhibitions against smaller schools a way to avoid early season slip-ups? Or does it diminish the excitement of the opener? Diving deeper into the rankings, Gonzaga's number 21 preseason AP poll spot with 387 points underscores their status. As mentioned, it's their 25th straight AP appearance and 16th consecutive preseason nod, joining Duke, Kansas, Kentucky, and North Carolina in that exclusive club. Their poll presence is rock solid. They've appeared in 161 of the last 175 AP polls, that's 92%, trailing only Kansas's 169. Since 2017, Gonzaga's averaged a number 7.1 ranking, second behind Kansas's 6.3. These numbers scream consistency. But some might argue that with so much preseason hype, Gonzaga risks underperforming if expectations are sky high. Is this ranking a badge of honor or a burden? Onto the slate, Gonzaga's schedule is packed with marquee matchups. In the Players Era Championship, they could face number 5 St. John's or number 3 Houston on the final day, but they start against number 15 Alabama on November 24th. At home, they'll host number 23 Creighton on November 11th. Then travel to Nashville for a showdown with number 9 Kentucky on December 5th, followed by the Seattle Hoops showdown against number 12 UCLA on December 13. They wrap non-conference play in the Northwest Elite Showdown versus Oregon, ranked just outside the top 25 with 98 votes in Portland on December 21st. Other home games include Oklahoma with 1 preseason vote on November 8th and West Coast Conference rivals St. Mary's, January 31st and February 28th with 2 votes. Twice. The 18-team Players Era Championship includes 13 ranked or voted teams like number 2 Houston, number 5 St. John's, and others through Baylor. Non-conference foes could include up to 8 NCAA tournament teams from last year, 7 with 20-plus wins in the top 75 NET rankings, and squads from 8 conferences, including Big 10, Big East, Big 12, SEC. Plus, Gonzaga is in the Players Era Festival and 3 neutral site games. This slate is a dream for fans, but with so many high-profile opponents, does it set up Gonzaga for glory or expose them to potential early losses? And this is where it gets really interesting. KenPom, a website that uses advanced analytics to rank all 365 Division I teams based on offensive and defensive efficiencies, tempo, luck, and schedule strength, has Gonzaga at number 8 overall and number 9 offensively in preseason. Houston leads, followed by Florida, Purdue, Kentucky, UConn, Illinois, Duke, Tennessee, and UCLA. Gonzaga's offense is elite, number 2, but their defense is number 20 in adjusted efficiency, a step up from 45th last preseason. So beginners, KenPom helps predict performance beyond basic stats, showing how efficient teams are. With such strong metrics, Gonzaga looks poised, yet some analysts debate if their defense can hold against top competition. Is relying on analytics like this the future of scouting, or does it overlook intangibles like heart? Wrapping up with experience is key. The Bulldogs' roster changes might worry some, but the depth shines through. Only 36% of scoring and 34% of rebounding return, but 3 1,000-point scorers, plus 842 and 713, provide firepower. 7 players have 65-plus games, 6 with 20-plus minutes. Award winners from other conferences add prestige. This blend of veterans and newcomers could make 2025-26 special. But does the heavy transfer reliance dilute the Gonzaga family feel? It's a point worth debating. Players mentioned. 11. Nolan Hickman, Gozags.com Sports Men's Basketball Roster, Nolan Hickman, 5311. Guard, 6'2", Senior, 34 Braden Huff. https Gozags.com Sports Men's Basketball Roster, Braden Huff, 5748. Forward, 6'10" Redshirt Junior. 15 Graham Ike. https Gozags.com Sports Men's Basketball Roster, Graham Ike It's 5749. Forward, 6'9" Graduate Student, 23 Adam Miller. https Gozags.com Sports Men's Basketball Roster, Adam Miller 5747. Gozags.com Sports Men's Basketball Roster, Adam Miller 6218. Guard, 6'3", Graduate Student Players Mentioned, 11, Nolan Hickman. https Gozags.com Sports Men's Basketball Roster, Nolan Hickman, 5311. 6'2", Senior Guard, 34 Braden Huff. https Gozags.com Sports Men's Basketball Roster, Braden Huff, 5748. 6'10" Redshirt Junior Forward, 15 Graham Ike. https Gozags.com Sports Men's Basketball Roster, Graham Ike X 5749. Do you think their preseason rankings are deserved, or is the hype overblown? Share your take in the comments. Is this the year they break records or face an upset? And let's debate. Does playing weaker opponents early help build momentum, or does it hide potential weaknesses? I'd love to hear your opinions.